Hey, shalom. Welcome back to our Exodus Listen and Learn immersion. Today we are starting with Exodus chapter 30, verse 22. And I just want to share that is my sincere hope for you if you're listening to this, you're paying attention, that you will realize your vision, your desire, your dreams of understanding the Bible in the original language. This is a very worthwhile goal, and it is worth it. And it is very valuable, and I really hope you don't hear that squeaky fan. May Adonai help you with that, with your goal. B'schut Yeshua. Okay, so let's get started. Let's scan the verse first. Well, it's a pretty short one. Maybe you'll just scan and translate. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe le'emoho. So, Yedaber, he will speak, but Vaydaber, and he spoke. Who spoke? Adonai. So then, or and, Hashem spoke El. That's Aleph Lamed, El, Moshe, unto Moses. Lemol, saying. Verse 23. Ve'ata, kach lecha, besamim, rosh, modro chamesh, meot vekinman, besem, machatzito, chamishim umatayim, ukene vosem, chamishim umatayim. Oops, I was worried I cut off the end of the verse there because my hand was covering it. Glad it's there. All right, so this one's a bit more wordy than verse 22. So let's pick it apart. Ve'ata, that's Aleph, Tav, Hey. You, that means you. Not to be confused with Ve'ata, with an ayin instead of an Aleph, which means now. There's Atta and Ve'ata. They are different, right? Although usually they're read the same, Atta and Atta, if you're not pronouncing ayins. Ve'ata, now you, Kach. And you might notice, this is, if you're watching instead of listening, I have the kof and the chait there. They're kind of an orange with like a yellow glow around them. This I'm using to mark imperatives, like commands. So this is actually the verb lakach, which is to take. Right? Take, acquire, sometimes buy, like in the case of the birthright. So this is a masculine imperative singular form, right? So it's talking to a man, namely Moshe. So this is Hashem speaking, and he says, Kach, take, lecha, for you. So again, Kach lecha, take for you, or take for yourself, or you take it. Another example of this kind of construction, when Hashem speaks, is in Bereshit, in Genesis, when God tells to Avram, he says, Lech, lecha, lech, lecha. So lech being a command form from halach. So in the same way, that imperative, the hey fell away, and we just get lech, which is go, lecha, for yourself, leading some commentators from ancient times to understand that it was for Avraham's own good to go, to get away from the pagan people who were around him. So here instead of, it's not lech lecha, but it's kach lecha. So take for yourself besamim, besamim. So this is a seglet word. It's besen, beit sin mem, besen. When I say seglet, I mean it's got the pattern, like melech, king, right? The plural of kings is melachim, right? Sefer is a pattern, scroll or book. Sefarim would be books. And here, besem is the singular, and besamim is the plural. So you see how those patterns, they all kind of follow along the same lines? All those nouns that are like a double two E sounds in a row, they're considered segolets and they behave similarly. So it's kind of good. You can recognize the patterns. You can just remember how one of them changes. Like Melech is king, Malki is my king, or king of me, right? Etc. When you remember the pattern for one, you can apply it for all of them. So it's less memorizing to worry about. Okay. So again, verse 23. Ve'ata, now you, kach, take, lecha, for yourself, besamim. So the take for yourself, it probably is like by yourself, right? Besamim. So the plural of besim is besamim, which means like, oh, I should mention that besim, other authors, other prophets, sometimes write it as bosim. So bosim or besim, if you see those either way, they're the same thing. It's the same thing, probably just a tribal difference, right? One tribe pronouncing it one way or something like this. Now, the main meaning of bosim or besim is balsam tree or a specific product that's made from that tree, right? Just kind of like Hebrew will call a tree an eitz, ayin sadi, and also wood is called eitz. So biblical Hebrew's kind of in the habit of sometimes calling the product of the thing the same word as the product. So besim or bosim can be balsam tree, or it can be balsam oil, right? A product from the balsam tree is balsam oil. This is an oil that easily coagulates, and so because of this, it's used in the making of perfume and such, and sometimes it just means perfume in and of itself. And often you'll find it coupled with other words like cinnamon, right, which is like cinnamon, perfume, cinnamon oil, or even sweet cinnamon. Or you'll see it with kane, which is a cane, right? So kane besim or kane bosim is an aromatic cane. So anyway, very flexible. So just like eitz can be tree or it can be wood, besim or bosim can mean balsam tree or it can be one of those other products that come from it. Okay. It's actually useful to know that Hebrew works this way, especially even if you're getting to Jewish Greek or something, because you'll notice some things in translation seem to be contradictions. Like I remember I was listening to a debate one time between a Muslim imam and a Reformed Christian Greek scholar, Dr. James White from Alpha and Omega Ministries. I like to listen to debates, even though I don't agree with either one of those, Reformed or obviously I would agree with Reformed much more than I would agree with the Imam. But but I like to hear it. Sometimes I listen to Sikhs debating with people, and I like to hear the arguments, right, and see what makes sense. But anyway, the Imam was claiming a contradiction in the New Testament, and he picked in one gospel where it talks about Judas hanging on a tree, and another one talking about him dying on that he was on wood or something like this. And say, look, it's a contradiction, and I was a little disappointed. Dr. White didn't address it; he kind of danced around it, and I was just thinking, well, it's the same word in Hebrew, that's why. so, so they're writing in Jewish Greek, and sure, maybe the Greek one writer decided to nuance it more specifically with a better word in Greek, and the other did not. But the underlying Hebrew and the underlying Hebraic thought, it's the same word, so not an error, not a contradiction in the Besorot in the Gospels. Anyway, so here we have kind of a similar thing with bosim or besim. All right. So ve'ata kach lecha, you take for yourself besamim. Okay. So balsam something, right? Probably balsam, the material for making the spices and the oils and such. And now we have a big construct change. So if you're just listening, da da da, rosh, da da da, mal, which is going to be mol because the accent moves, da da da, diro, da da da, chamesh. Okay. So, and then those four words are all construct. So with the word that's in the absolute being me'ot. So here we go. Rosh modero chamesh me'ot. So Rosh, Reish Aleph Shin is like the head or the most important part, the chief part. Mol, but it's actually spelled mal, mem resh. Well, this word's pretty easy to know and to learn because it's a cognate with English. Mal or mol, mem resh is just myrrh, right? Myrrh, like frankincense and myrrh. So rosh, the heads or the best of mal or mol, of myrrh, of derol, dalet resh, vav resh. Derol, this means stakte, S-T-A-C-T-E, stakte, like lumps, like as myrrh is left, it forms these little lumps and stuff, right? So chamesh, so of 5, of me'ot, hundreds. Me'ah, mem aleph hey is 100. Me'ah, me'ot, that's the plural. So hundreds. There's a special form if it's 200, matayim. It's got the dual ending, ayim. So 2 of a mea, 200 in that case. So the rosh here probably is talking about the quality. Like, I said it could be choice or best, right? So, kach lecha, take for yourself or take by yourself, besamim, balsam perfume or balsam oil, right? The product from the balsam tree. Rosh modero chamesh meot. Rosh, the best quality of myrrh stakte, right? Or lumps of myrrh. How many lumps of myrrh? Chamesh meot, 500. And then continuing the next word I know you're going to like. Vekineman. Vekineman, actually it's ve da 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 kineman, so it's construct state, of besim. So kineman is cinnamon. That's where cinnamon comes from. The ancient Hebrew, kineman. If you're just listening, it's spelled kuf or kof, however you like to call that letter. Noon with a dagesh, so there's 2 of them. That's why it's kin ne. And then man, mem, nun, kineman. The kineman besim, and sweet cinnamon, or cinnamon oil, perhaps. Machatzit, machatzit, machatzit is half of it. Chamishim matayim. Oh, funny, I just taught you about the dual. I didn't realize we're going to have it in this verse already. Okay, nice. So chamishim, 50, and matayim. So that ayim ending, ayim means 2 of a thing. Yad is hand, yadayim are 2 hands. Ya'in is eye, ya'inayim are 2 eyes. Me'ah is 100, me'ot are hundreds, but matayim are 200. Even in modern Hebrew today, at the store you're paying for something, they may tell you matayim, 200 shekels. Ukene vosim, and kene, that's kuf or kof, nun hey, reed of vosim. So there we go. We had besim, now we have vosim, of balsam. And it may just be generally used for spice sometimes, right, to mean spice, right? So an aromatic reed, I believe is how halot suggests rendering that. Chamishim. Wait, or is it DCH? No, I think that's right. It's halot. Chamishim, 50, matayim, and 200. How did you do? Let's go through again. This time try to translate before I do. We'll do verse 22 and 23. Vayutaber Adonai. Sorry, I had to pause. My fan was squeaking. Then Hashem spoke El Moshe, unto Moshe, Lemol, saying, verse 23, Ve'ata kach lecha, or kach lecha, besamim. Ve'ata, now you, or then you, kach, from lakach, imperative, command, take, lecha, for yourself, just like lech lecha, besamim. So, balsam, oil, or it could even be more general, like special spices. Rosh, actually, da-da-da, rosh, da-da-da, mo, da-da-da, dero, da-da-da, chamesh me'ot. So, rosh, the head, literally the head, or the chiefest, the best, of mo, myrrh, of dero, stakte, right? So, lumps of myrrh, chamesh me'ot, 5 of hundreds. Ve, da-da-da, kineman bosim. Kineman, actually, probably in ancient times is kinemon bos, kinemon, oh, tongue-tied. Kinemon bosim. Kinemon bosim. Although we don't really have to, but cinnamon of besim, of balsam, like, or perfumery, or the general spice smell in general. Machatzit, machatzit is half of it. Have you ever heard of mechitza? Mechitza is in a smaller synagogue where there's no upstairs for the women. The women sit downstairs with the men. I mean, on the same level as the men. And the mechitza, it's like a divider, like a little portable wall that separates them. On one side, the men on the other. But the rabbi or anyone who's up at the bima can see them both because the mechitza stops before it gets up there, or whoever is teaching, whatever. So the women and the men, they can all see the rav. It's a divider, right? It's dividing wall. Mechitza. So machatzit, dividing it. Chamishim, 50. Umatayim, and 200. Ukane vosim, and a reed of vosim, so an aromatic reed, or whatever that is, aromatic reed. Chamishim, 50. Umatayim, and 200. All right, now I'm just going to read through quickly, and we will be done. Exodus chapter 30, verse 22 and 23, with no tonal indicators. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, ואתה קח לך בשמים, ראש מודרו 500, וקינמון בסם, מחציתו 50 200, וקנה בושם 50 200. Sorry, an alarm went off while I was reading. It kind of distracted me. Hope it didn't bother you guys. All right, so that's it for this lesson. Come on back and we'll have the next one starting with verse 24.